To my direct right is Illinois State Director of Athletics Larry Lyons. In the middle, Illinois State head men's basketball coach Dan Muller. And on the far end, senior forward John Jones, who will be speaking on behalf of the rest of his teammates today. Each will make a brief statement before we open up for questions. If you have questions, please preface it with your full name and the organization you are representing here today for us. As you can imagine, this is a tough time for all of us, and we are here to talk about those that we lost yesterday, our close friends, and those we care about. Please know that just like everybody else, we are awaiting more information about the investigation from the NTSB and the FAA, and as such, we will not comment specifically about the accident and what has happened, and focus more directly on our friends and those we lost. So as we begin, we'll open up with Coach Muller.
Thank you for coming. Didn't want to start yet, but try to make it through this without with being able to talk. Okay.
I mentioned yesterday there's no play in the playbook to handle this. A strength of this campus and this community is that the Redbird family answers the call when there's a need. I'd like to thank President Larry Dietz, Jay Groves, and their staff for their help and guidance. Our campus community has reached out. The Bloomington Normal community has reached out. Support has come from every athletic department across the country. Incredible support. I'd also like to thank our staff and our coaches for doing what we do and to support our student athletes in this endeavor. Our focus is our student athletes. Our focus is the families who need us now. It's a bumpy road, but the Redbirds will be there. I know we're here primarily to speak about Aaron and Tory, but it's important to mention Andy Butler, Terry Stralo, Jason Jones, Scott Bittner, and Tom Heilman. There's a large void in our community and our Redbird family. And really, Bloomington Normal is a small town. And in many respects, everybody is touched by this tragedy, and they will all be missed. I want to thank the media for giving us a day to get together and get our thoughts behind us, give us a little bit of time to get prepared, because yesterday was a day for family. That's what our focus was. And again, I want to thank everybody who has reached out with their thoughts and their prayers, locally and across the country.
Okay. Yesterday was the hardest day of my life. Lost a lot of good friends, and I met Andy Butler and Terry Strelo about 20 years ago, and they're such good people. And to their families, words of course don't express. To Jamie and Joan and their families. Jason Jones I met recently, a great man. His kids and family. To Scott and Tom, who I didn't know well. Our prayers are with them. I tried to dress up because Aaron and Tory always look good. A couple years ago when Aaron was coming back, they told me, hey, Aaron, this guy's coming back. And I hadn't met him yet. And told about how great he was. And great to work with, great to work for. And he was my primary contact in our department. And they undersold his greatness. He was a good man. We'll miss him.
Aaron, I described Aaron as a shining star yesterday. The first call I made, the first call I made 2 years ago was to ask Aaron to come back. He had a tremendous gift to reach out and develop and nurture relationships. I mean, he was incredibly talented. He was a high character individual, incredibly loyal. He came back. Strong family man, just an incredible base in his family, incredible faith. In this business, you need really good people. You need good people in college athletics, and we needed him in this business. Externally, we were doing things very well. He did for those of you who don't understand when I say externally, it's our fundraising efforts, it's our sponsorship sales efforts, it's our marketing efforts, it's our ticket office, it's media relations, it's everything that has to do with touching folks externally. And that group is a talented group of people. And he was a tremendous leader. It's just going to be incredibly big shoes to fill. Incredibly big shoes. Tory Ward. What a big personality. I mean, a huge personality. I have a weakness for peanut M&Ms. And those things are in a bowl on Sue's desk in the men's basketball office every day. And it's a struggle for me to stay away from those peanut M&Ms. And Tory crucifies me whenever he sees me about, and had my hand been in that bowl. He loved people. He loved getting under your skin a little bit. Our fans loved him. When we have a coach come in before games in one of our donors' rooms, Tory was a highlight. I mean, the room would shut up and pay attention. He'd give a little scouting report. He'd take a couple jabs at a couple people in the room, and let's go win one for the Birds. And he was on a path. He was going to be a head coach. He had that skill set to do that. And some school is not going to have that opportunity to have them as their head coach. It's just unfortunate because we need people like him in that side of the business.
Thank you. With Aaron, he was, in 2 years, he made a tremendous difference in our department, in my life, and to Lindsay and his family, of course. Our prayers go out. And just a great person. As Larry said, infectious personality, and was always there for me and for our team and for everybody. At a relatively young age, truly left a legacy, probably across the country, certainly here on campus. And it's hard to imagine not seeing him. Got anything else to say?
A couple
No, I'm
more
just
things.
kidding.
Okay, let me jump in here.
Yeah.
Like Dan, I had met Scott Bittner. I did not know him well. I know he was a guy who cared about the Redbirds, and A lot of guys flew with him to not only Redbird games, but, golf events and Hawks games and things like that. I didn't know Tom. I know he was a tremendous pilot. I know people that, used his services. Jason Jones is probably a guy that is pretty typical of Bloomington Normal. He was from Lincoln, Illinois. His dad's an alum, played baseball here, Woody. But he played basketball at Wesleyan. So he was a Wesleyan guy. But he was also an ISU guy. There are so many people in this community, they're both. And that's awesome that we can support Wesleyan and we can support Illinois State athletics. Terry Strelo, he's an icon. When people come back to this campus, what's on their checklist is Avanti's and the pub. Not necessarily in that order. And what a unique place the pub is, because it's a family restaurant during the day that we all go to. And it's one of the top 100 college bars at night when the kids take over.
We don't go then.
At night, we go there during the day.
That's right.
But what a unique place. And what a following and Terry was a Redbird.
Yes.
Terry was a Redbird. Thick or thin, didn't matter.
Yes.
He was a Redbird. And then there's Andy. Andy was a true Redbird. Grew up in Champaign. Came to Illinois State. I like to call him a facilitator. He was a guy that saw as his role was to facilitate relationships and get people to become Redbirds. He knew more people. He had more relationships. He would be somewhere, and you'd get a tweet or something would show up on his Facebook, and you're going, oh, my God. He knows more people. He is at more places. But his whole goal was to find a way to get more people to support the Redbirds. That was just a passion of his. And he brought people to the table. He brought people to games. He spread the word. Those are big shoes to fill. Big, big shoes to fill. You want to say something, John?
I still can't believe it, when I woke up yesterday, usually when you get the text or something in the morning, report to the locker room, it's like you got in trouble or something, you about to run or something. So I texted coach back like, you got me concerned, like I don't know what to do. And then I had to go to the high school to do some schoolwork, and then I got out. And then I texted Deshaun, like, yo, somebody in trouble or something? Like, what's going on? And then, like, going through this as a team and like, just the camaraderie we had with him, with Coach Ward. Not only Coach Ward, Scott, the first time I got here, the first practice I had, I saw Scott on the sideline. And I saw a couple other guys that they came to our practices, and it was just like, these guys are just father figures to us. To me, my father's been out of my life, so Coach Ward, me and him had a personal relationship, not only on the court but off the court. His little son came here for one of the summer camps we had, and I was like, man, he means the world to us, because his dad is out there coaching us, so if we can pass that on to his son, and I just can't believe it. Like, so much fun we had. I texted him on Friday. I was at the Bulls game. I texted him. I was like, man, I love you so much, and thank you for all the things you did for me. He was like, I love you too, man. And that's my last words to him. I just wish that I could see him again. Knowing his smile, he always out there shooting half-court shots before practice start. He can make like 50 in a row. Even one time during the season, I think we lost like 3 straight or something like that. And he told Coach, go out of the locker room, and he sat us down and said, this is not what we want to do. Like, this is not the type of season we want to have. And he was just a muscle on our team. Like, you probably didn't realize it, but everything that Coach said, he'll back it up, And all those memories, they not gonna go to waste. I remember him coaching me on the sideline. It got to a habit. Like when I was in the game, I was looking at the sideline like, what to do next, Coach Ward? He was such a good man. He went too early, but you can't blame God. Why? You never can do that. Like Coach said yesterday, it's important we remember and move on. You know, you can't stick up every day with nothing to do. He would want us to keep on doing what we're doing. Yesterday, I went in there. I'm a senior, but I'm in there working out with all the guys. You know, because that's what Coach Ward was like. You know, 2 weeks ago, I asked him, "You think I can go pro and I can make some money?" He was like, "Sure, yeah." You played a wonderful 6 weeks, the last 6 weeks of the season. He was like, "You played outstanding," you know. And that's all help to him. Like, I wouldn't be here without Coach Ward. We won all them games without Coach Ward. And it ain't going to be the same. I know tears not going down my eyes now, but I'm balling inside, man. I'm balling inside. And this is just the toughness he built in me. You know, sophomore year when I redshirted, on the road every day we would have an individual workout. And he one time he told me he'll run me till my feet bleed. I wish I could run right now, man. I'll run miles for him. Knowing that he can't coach me again. And he up there looking down, you know. It's going to be hard for all of us to accept the fact he's gone, but he was such a good man. I even remember at UAB where he played. We went in there. He was like, "Man, you better get some buckets here tonight," because I used to get buckets in here. He was like, anybody that came in here that was going out with an L.
Tory was a special person. I've known him for about 12 years, and we became close friends. And of course, I brought him here. He was the first phone call I made when I got the job. Professionally, he was awesome. He could do anything. He was going to be a head coach soon. He was instrumental in what we've done here and what we're going to do in the future. He was unique because he could talk to anybody. He could recruit anywhere in the country. He could help any kid. He could build trust. He truly cared. He was a great mentor.
This time we'll open up questions for any of the panelists. Yes. Like Larry had mentioned, we knew several of them. Some knew better than others. Obviously, not all were employees of Illinois State, but we knew most of them in some way, shape, or form.
I think you could characterize them as fans, as supporters. There's varying degrees of support out there, but I think it's safe to say that there was an interest in varying levels, and you know the interest was growing in some instances. You know, we're in the relationship business. Dan's in the relationship business, and on the administrative side, we're in the relationship business, and that again, that goes back to Aaron and people that go out and develop those relationships and keep people interested and keep them tied to the institution. So, you know, you're constantly working on relationships in our business. There's not an off switch. We don't get an off switch. You know, you meet people at the grocery store, at church, at a game, at a social function. It's what we do. We build relationships. You mentor, you facilitate relationships so that you can provide for our student athletes and give them the very best possible experience you can give them. So yeah, we had relationships.
Yes. Oh, about the fans? Is that what you're asking?
Question again?
I'm sorry. Well, we met. I got a hold of the guys as soon as I heard. It was my first priority to tell them, and we met as soon as possible. And and talked and grieved for a little while, and the shock set in. But we decided that keep the same schedule was the best thing we could do, and gave the guys actually a choice of whether they could go to class or work out. And they all wanted to, and I thought it was very healing, a good thing. We had guys in there now. We'll continue that. So no, I wouldn't say surprised, and I would say I was very glad that we did that. We have a bunch of players that loved Tory Ward, truly, and loved his family, and it's hard for them. And so we just try to help them through the process. And I don't know what other questions will be asked, but I want to say to Tory Ward's fiancee Janine and his mother Janice and their families, and just please, and his kids, little Tory and Tamia, they'll always be family, and they know that. And just keep everybody in their prayers, and we can never repay what these people did for us. And we did love them.
Same is true with the Leetch family.
Yes.
Lindsay and Avery and Emerson. Just great people, great family. We love them.
At this point in time, we are opening up our doors on the east side concourse of Redbird Arena today, beginning at noon. Fans are welcome. Anybody that would like to come and pay remembrance to the 7 who lost their lives yesterday are welcome to do so. We will have a spot set up on the east concourse there for people to leave messages, cards, flowers, whatever they would like. And then later this evening at 6 p.m. we will hold a small memorial at Redbird Arena. And that information has been put out by Illinois State, and it is circulating. But yes, that is the initial plan for this evening.
We're going to support each family as they make their individual arrangements, and do what we can to help them get through their process, and whatever bequests that they individually like to set up, we will make sure that the Redbird community is aware and help them with that. Aaron was first hired in 2005 by Shane Zinger, a former athletic director, at a time where we were doing some reorganization of our external areas. Shane left to become the AD at Kansas, and Aaron had an opportunity about a half a year later to go to Whitworth College in Spokane, Washington, to be an athletic director. And so he left. And Aaron left a gifted young man, and when I asked, he came back. He came back. He came back and experienced more gifted, mature, just a fantastic athletic administrator. That 2 years was good for him, and as a growth experience. And he came back ready to work. He wanted to come back and be a Redbird. He loved this place. And we're lucky he came back. We're lucky we had him for a couple of years. We're better off for it. And we're going to miss him. He came back in 2013. I think my dates are correct. He's been back a couple years.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to go back with him. We scheduled the series, of course. Tory was truly loved at UAB and still is, and the support that he got when we got there was neat. He was a terrific player there. His mother still teaches there. She's a UAB. She's a Blazer. It was a good trip, as many were. but to be able to have his family at the game was special.
I remember specifically seeing little Tory Ward, his son, get on the bus with us, knowing that we was all gonna get ready to go battle, And I would always go out there and shoot with him. Like after shooting around, he was out there. That day when we played UAB, and I shot with him like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. And Coach Ward, he was just out there, him having fun. That's. I remember him smiling that whole trip. He was like, "You guys, it's not gonna be an easy game because these guys are good." And when it got down to crunch time during the game, he was always there. Like, "Coach, you need to do this. Coach, you need to do that. Coach, this is the perfect thing to do." And seeing him out there, his mom was a wonderful woman. I met her probably like 15 times, 16 times, and talking to her just reflects everything in her son. Seeing him smile, seeing him happy. I can't remember one day Coach Ward just came in and went off for no reason. I can't remember that. I can't remember that on his face.
You all talked about what these men did to Illinois State. Can you talk about what they did to each other? Obviously, some were closer than others, some were better friends, some were work buddies. Can you talk about how these people set and do each other and what they were?
Yeah, I'll speak a little bit. I could tell you that it was, a trip like many that was thrown together late, and just hey, a bunch of guys wanted to go watch a championship game. Tory wasn't asked to and didn't decide to go until about noon on Monday. But once he found out who was going, who were certainly friends, he wanted to go. And again, I knew 5 of them very well. And the main common bond was Redbird athletics and Illinois State University. And so a lot of experiences and bonding experience with those guys at games. And that's something they loved. They went to sporting events a lot. They would go to Blackhawks games, Bears, things like that. Tory's been with those guys to Bears games, and he'd go see the Cowboys play the Bears, his favorite team. And so he went with Doc Butler. And so I know those guys were close.
Was there a main guy that kind of led the trip?
Oh, that's a good question.
Good question. I mean, I called Andy a facilitator. That'd be a good guess that
Yeah.
Andy was probably in the middle of it. But that trip was probably not unlike hundreds of trips that were in and out of Indianapolis on Saturday and on Monday from all over the country. There's a group of guys, some of them are sitting in this room, that go on trips all the time, whether it's a basketball game or a pro sporting event or a golf event or wherever. It's just there's guys that love to do that kind of thing, and they network and they figure out how they're going to get there and figure out game tickets and where's dinner, and it happens all over this country. And it's what Monday was no different. I've been on hundreds of those trips in my career.
And I know they had fun, too.
They had a good time. Yep.
No, they're just fans, 100%.
Love college
Fans,
basketball.
got some tickets, and easy trip.
Yep.
Easy, short trip. That was it. Well, I'll speak to, of course, Tory Ward had a tremendous love for basketball as a player and a coach, and what we do as coaches, and what all good coaches do, is you mentor kids and help kids grow, and so that's such a big part of the sport. And Aaron did that as well as anybody. But those other guys, again, they love basketball. They would come to our games on the road at Wichita State, or conference games. Probably took that same plane many times. But I would just call them big-time sports fans.
I would be surprised if more than half of them were in Frisco for the football championship game. They're just fans. And I bring that up, and it makes me reflect. We had such a great fall with volleyball, soccer, football. Men's basketball went to the NIT, so our winter was pretty good. And we've had such a high, and then Monday, Tuesday, such a low. Just an incredible thing. And again, I go back to there's no play in the book. No play in the book for this. You do the best you can to support everybody. You know, we love them, we're going to miss them. But we've got to move on. We've got to help this team move on. We've got to help this department move on. We played baseball this week. We played softball this week. Football had practice this week. You have to continue to move on to support their memory and their legacy. We got to find a way to continue to support their families and our family. There's a lot of people that have gone to work here who haven't had a chance to grieve because they put other excuse me. They put other people in front of themselves. That's what we do here. It's just an unbelievable place. Unbelievable. It's what we do.
Any additional questions at this time?
I did not go. I was asked to go on the plane, yes, but I couldn't. I couldn't go. I saw him in my office before he headed to the airport at about 1:30. I had him do something for me, which he always did. I talked to him when he was in Indianapolis on the phone for about 30 minutes before the game, just about stuff. And I texted with him while he was at the game. I texted with him while he was at the game. I had a meeting with the player that I had to do, and we had some stuff with our team that I felt like I had to be at for just normal work situation, and that's when Tory went. I've gone to Final Fours in the past. I've not gone on a private plane like that in the past, no. None of these trips. A lot of these trips that these guys go on are to our games. I've gone to a Blackhawks game with Andy Butler before, and but nothing, not on. Right. Well, you got a core group of guys that love the program, and you know, no athletics, no team, no sport is anything without your fans, and that's, I think, even more true in the collegiate game because of the age of the student athletes, and so to see those guys behind the bench. For these guys, for us, you know, it's awesome. It's awesome. And, you know, the best thing about these guys, again, they're friends. You know, they weren't just fans. You know, they're friends and good people, and they're there for you, win or lose. You meet them through athletics, but you develop relationships that mean a lot more than athletics. And so Andy Butler was all of our sports update. If anything happened in the sports world, I would get a text from him.
Yep.
And so would Larry.
Yep.
an article
You wonder when he had time in the day
to work.
to work, take care of us.
Yeah.
But he took care of us.
Yeah. He sent me an article on Sunday, I believe. So that's just kind of, sports and friends is who they are.
There was a gathering Thursday night in Indianapolis. Mike Vandergaard, a former player who's a scout for the 76ers, sent a note out to the Redbird Redbird former athletes and coaches and said, hey, I've got a spot reserved on Thursday night. Come one, come all. And Andy was there. Matt and I drove over for that event, and we had 16 or 17 guys from around the country, former players. And the amazing thing to me was there was as many former coaches, guys who had worked here, who were getting paid at other institutions, stopped by because of their time at Illinois State. Coach Jankovic, Coach Giacoletti, Chad Altadonna played here and coached at a couple other places and coached here. We had 10 years of point guards there. We had Richard Thomas, we had David Kaysen, we had Jamar Smiley. It was just a fun evening to catch up with those guys. And Andy was a big part of getting the message out for that thing. That's what Redbirds do. They don't forget their time here. They don't forget what this place meant to them. It was a pretty special night.
What kind of enforcement counseling for the players, for you all staff, what can help you all this?
There's counseling available through the campus that we've made everybody aware of. Sean Zeppelin's a sports psychologist on campus. He's been over. He works with our teams anyway and has provided, has offered his services. Obviously, Reverend Rayford, who's our team chaplain for men's basketball and football primarily, though he will assist other sports if they need that. He was right there when we needed him. There's been a lot of people reach out and offer their support to help not only the families, but staff. That's another thing that this campus does really well. In time of need, it rallies the troops, and it's all hands on deck to help people get through things like this. And everybody's going to grieve in different ways. We talked about it in our leadership staff on Tuesday morning when I had to break the news. We had to put on our big boy and big girl pants for a couple days and help people get through this. And then our time would come later. Head coaches came in at 9 o'clock, and some of them, it was news to them. And I said, your job is to help your teams get through this and make sure that there's the right message sent, and that if they need help, we need to support them. So it was our department responded in just a tremendous way to help move forward, and it's still responding. I mean, this is not going to end today. There are going to be 7 funerals. There's going to be some things that we have continue to deal with, and we're going to support those people and those families through this whole process and after the process is over, because they're going to need a lot of hugs after this is over. A lot of hugs, and we're going to be there for them.
We had Reverend Rayford. I called him immediately. He actually came and was with our team yesterday morning right after we delivered the news, and then was around all day and was over at my house with some families last night.
How many players on the staff?
I've got 14 players that were on this year's team, and I personally have, there's me, Tory, and 4 other people on our staff. Sue, our wonderful helper in all different ways, is a big part of our staff also. And then, of course, all the people in the department.
We're about 130 strong in our department.
Any other questions at this time? Okay, thank you.